Today we're going to be looking at a commissioned request that is a ban system. This is a pretty interesting one, and it's actually been a work in progress for a while, and this is not the very first version of it, let's say. It is part of a larger system, but each part is designed to work independently or modular, so we'll showcase and kind of reveal each part separately, and then I'll do like a full system reveal and post as well in case you want the entire thing instead of just one part. But what we're focusing on here today is the ban system. So basically what it does is you have an entry for each player in the world as they join or leave. So it updates kind of like our player list from way back when. It uses some of that tech to kind of track the players. And then you can ban them either in the instance. So basically what I'm saying is you have a hard-coded list and then the instanced version. So the instance version is be like, let's say we're not on the hard-coded ban list here, and we just hit ban on one of us, which we will do here in a second, but that will reset after you start a new instance, so it's not permanent, so to speak. And then we have the hard-coded list, which is permanent until you remove them from that list. So let's go ahead and click ban here. This actually bans both of us because we're the same name, and it restricts your ability to look left and right. You can only look up and down, and you cannot move. So if you actually hit unban, it would remove you from this list and allow you to walk again, but I actually can't demonstrate that for you because it goes based on your name. It could be set up in the future to use your user ID, but in order to do a GET request on that variable, you do have to be a VRC Plus subscriber, and I'm not, so I just haven't been able to set it up using that. It's a pretty small modification. But yeah, right now it just goes on display name, which is also pretty useful because even though you can change your display name, most people aren't going to do that just to get around a ban on your world. And you can only do it like once every 7 or 30 days or 90 days or something like that. There is a limit. You can't just keep changing your name. So it's still pretty efficient. So that's how the instanced version works. So let's say somebody's causing a problem in your world, you can just hit ban on them, and when you start a new world or new server, it will no longer be the case. But let's say you have a permanent list of users and you want them anytime they join, no matter what instance it is. Let's say you have a big world where there's lots of instances of it going on. They'd be banned in all of them. There's like really no way to get around this as long as you're the world uploader. That account, I mean, I guess they could switch accounts or usernames, but if they don't do one of those two things, there's really no way to get around this. Even if you, let's say, respawn, you just get sent back right here. There's not much you can do about this. So let's go ahead and take a look at how it works in the back end, because we'll cover the kind of setup for it and how the hard-coded versions work, because this is how the running version works. All right, so you pretty much have, it'll come like this. You just implement this script onto, well, it'll come as a prefab, but this is really the important part right here. And you can see you have a staff list, and these take Pastebin URLs. We can take a look at that here in a minute. But you have a staff list, which is who's actually allowed to click the buttons. If they're not on the staff list and they click one of the ban or unban buttons, it doesn't do anything. So that's good. And then you have the hard-coded blacklist. So let's say we use the same list. So I was already on the staff list. Now I'm going to be on the hard-coded blacklist. And we hit play. We are instantly teleported to the ban area. As soon as that list loads, the script runs, and here we are. So that is a thing. It works pretty much the same way, except for there's really no getting around it, and it would be on every version of your world. Okay, so now for our other settings besides the actual banning, you have your teleport location. Right now it's just set to this cube, but you can change that teleport wherever you want. You can have a special area or room, or it could just be way off in oblivion. It doesn't really matter. It just takes a location of something. So input, an empty game object, cube, a room, wherever you want them to go. That's where they go. So back to our security controller. This was a feature I haven't actually tested, but I was asked to put in, and I don't see any reason it shouldn't work. Basically, you have your normal audio sources right here. So these are things you'd want to turn off for the band player. Let's say like you have background music or something going and you don't want them to hear that. You just put your audio sources in here, and then the audio source you want them to hear, which would be your band audio source. So basically like I don't know, an annoying song or music or tone or something. I don't know, something to annoy a band player, I suppose. Or even like a message saying like, hey, here's why you've been banned, here's what you can do, or, whatever. That's really all the setup there is to it. Now, like I was saying, we will take a look at how to set up these paste bins. It's pretty straightforward, and you might have actually done it before with other systems. But in case you haven't, I will show you how it works. So what you'd want to do is go over to Pastebin, and you will need an account, but it's free. And you're going to want to make a new Pastebin. Let's say staff. Which one were we doing? I think staff list. Yeah, that's the one we have. Okay, so here's the one we were just using. And if you want it to work in play mode, you need to add this local player line, but otherwise you would add the username. So what you'd want to do with this is make sure each name is on a new line and just enter it exactly as it is. You can grab that from like the VRChat website, or just type it manually if it doesn't have weird characters, something like that. And then make sure you set it to unlisted and name it. Now, what you actually need to make it work is if you just try to disable or enter this link, it's not going to work for you. You need to get the raw link here, and it says raw, and you just click raw, get this link, and this is the link you would actually put in like wherever you want. If it's your band list or your staff list, that's just how you do it. It's that simple. And you can update these live. So like, let's say I'm not on the band list and the instance is running, you can quickly go over to Pastebin, type in the name, and it will update. I think it's like every 10 seconds or something like that, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. It's a pretty short time. And then it reloads that list pretty regularly. And if it finds that user on that list, it goes ahead and bans them. So there's really two ways to ban in live time. You have the instanced version, which is via this menu, and then you have the hard-coded menu. So that's pretty much the ban system. It works really well. You could argue that the menu could be better, and I wouldn't disagree with you. Right now it looks like there's a lot of space in between names, because I was testing it in worlds that had like 30-40 people in it, and the names were starting to overlap. So I had to make the menu bigger, so when there's few people in, it looks like the names are really spaced out. But when you get into a more populated world, it kind of condenses it. And here I can show you kind of what that looks like in play mode real quick. Alright, now we're booted up and I'm not in the ban list. Let's just clone this a bunch more times, simulating a bunch of people in the world. Let's say we have 34 people now, which is a typical medium-sized world limit. And you can see here, it's still all, pretty easily visible. There's no overlap, no confusion. And that was an issue with one of my earlier versions, is if you had this many people, it would be impossible to figure out who you were trying to ban or unban. And yeah, this is pretty much how the system works. Very useful. It's not really a toy or a game or anything like that. Obviously, it's a kind of a management utility asset. But yeah, hope you guys find this useful. It will be on my Patreon. And yeah, there's more modular versions that work with this coming soon, like a VIP system, different roles. So like maybe you have like various so how the VIP system would work, and these are kind of like VIP, staff, admin, bouncer, dancer, or bartender. These are all things that kind of would work the same way, but they do different things. So what I mean by that is, like, so for the VIP one, based on your role, you it either disables or enables something based on your role. So, like, let's say certain areas have colliders where you can't get back into them unless you're a certain role. That role, or the system, would check for your role and then disable those colliders. Kind of like an automated toggle manager like we have over here is kind of how that works. But yeah, that's it for at least this one. It's the only one that's kind of really different. And I hope you guys either learn something or think it's interesting, in which case drop me a like, comment, or go check it out on my Patreon. I appreciate you guys for watching and making it this far in the video. Later. And that's it. Hopefully this gave you a solid start. Whether you're building your first VRChat world or just looking to add more polish to the one you've already got, these little systems can go a long way toward making your world feel interactive and alive. If you want to try this asset out before dropping it into your own project, I've got a public demo world set up. You can jump in, push buttons, test things out, and see exactly how it works in action. I always try to keep the demo world updated with the latest version, so it's a great place to explore and get ideas. And if this video helped you, or if you're using any of my tools in your world, consider supporting me on Patreon. It helps me carve out more time to make these assets, keep them updated, and put together more tutorials like this one. Even a small pledge goes a long way and means a lot. There's a link to both the demo world and the Patreon in the description below, so feel free to check them out. Thanks again for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.